I wanted to update y'all and let y'all know that Paris has passed. And I wanted to just give the little story on her and what happened. It was sudden and sort of unexpected. It's like you're never ready, are you? Um, her birthday was coming up. She passed October 4th, but her birthday was coming up October 13th. So she was 11. I was hoping she would make 12 years old, but God had other plans for her. So just kind of a little bit of the history of what led to her passing. Earlier this year in March, Paris had a coughing episode, and I took her to a vet. My original vet was moving, so I had to take her to another vet. He did an x-ray, and he listened to her heart and things, and they said that she has like a little small heart murmur there, and that it's possible that the coughing could also be a tracheal collapse. He sent us home with antibiotics and maybe pain medication. I'm a little fuzzy on that visit of what he gave us to help her with the cough, but she did get better from that. In April, I brought her to the vet. I know for sure she had gotten rabies or heartworm done, but I can't right now off top of my head. I don't have my notes in front of me, but I can't remember if she was going through a coughing episode again. I think she was, because I was logging everything on my phone. I want to say she had another coughing episode, and I sent the copy of the x-rays from March to the vet that she sees regularly so he can have a look. And he said it's just something we're going to have to monitor for Paris. Oh, I do remember this. The first visit in March, he prescribed, I'm going to butcher the name of this medicine, hydrocodone, like as a cough suppressant. It was that with another medicine mixed in. So it was meant to help with the pain, I think, and her cough. So I was giving her that as recommended, and her cough went away. It took about a week, but you can, as the days were going on, and this was in April, that she kind of, it went away on its own, and she was fine. At the end of September, I can't remember what date it was, she started up with her little coughing fits again. I was giving her the same medication, that cough suppressant stuff, and this time, day by day, it was not getting any better. Went ahead and called to ask for a specific doctor, and her appointment ended up being October 2nd, a Wednesday. So I brought her in for that cough. He did take an x-ray, and then comparing the x-ray from where she was in March to where she was October 2nd, her heart grew. She had an enlarged heart. And they said possibly, I'm terrible with all of this, but her trach or esophagus or something, whatever that last bit that connects to her heart, because her heart was so big, it was squeezing that little pipe there, and that may have been causing her coughing spells and why it was not improving. Not to say she didn't have tracheal collapse, she may still have had that, it just didn't show up in the x-rays. He gave us medicine for the enlarged heart, can't remember the name of it, and we didn't know why she was coughing at the time, so he also prescribed like a antibiotic. He sent us home with that, and then he wanted us to follow up when the medicine was done. So I had already scheduled her appointment for 2 weeks, which would have been October 16th. So we go home, same situation. She's now at this point, she hasn't used the bathroom. She's just holding it in. But I'm like, well, she's barely eating, so that makes sense. She really didn't have anything in her system. Like, she's eating, but it's not her usual. She's seems fine. Like, she's acting like her normal self otherwise. And then she would do these little huffs, like these little coughing huffs after her heavy coughing spells. And that started to become a usual thing. Like, okay, well, there she goes again with her little coughing huffs. Well, Friday, so she went to the vet on Wednesday the 2nd. Friday, October 4th, we had an unexpected visitor, and Paris doesn't do well when people are over. So she got to barking like she normally would. I tried to keep her calm, knowing her situation. So I don't know if that had something to do with it, but she was still coughing and all throughout. I did go outside with her. It's for some reason taking her out and her smelling the air kind of settled her cough a little bit. I don't know why, but it would. So anytime she had a bad spell where the medicine wasn't helping her, I'd take her out no matter what time it was. And that would kind of help her slow down a bit. Well, I finally got her to go. I kept giving her the cue or the command to go use the bathroom, and she went. So I monitored that and I logged it in my notes. So around 2:45-ish maybe. I sat on the sofa. Paris has stairs, it's a ramp slash stairs. It's the combo ones. She got up on that and then she came lay next to me, which she always does. And then I just started looking at her and her head just started going all over the place. And I said to myself, something's not right. And then she kept doing that. And I put her down onto the floor and she started seizuring. Her front paws were extended and she was flaring them. We were calling her name. She wasn't responding visually to anyone. I got the phone. I called my vet and I told them, I said, something's wrong with Paris. We need to take her now. I said, she was just there Wednesday about an enlarged heart. I said, can I come now? And they were like, yes, what's the name? And I just told them my last name. And then we left and we were like flying. It was raining, pouring down rain. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. We just got to get to the vet. Paris soiled herself. It ended up being all over me while we were in the car on the way. She was still not stable. Her head was all over the place. She couldn't settle down. She tried to lift. We live about 5 minutes from the vet. She tried to lift herself up and she wanted to reposition herself, and she did that. She was able to reposition herself, and that was it. Her body went limp. She passed in my arms. But I didn't know at the time because I was so anxious about getting there. I didn't realize that she actually passed. I just knew she was still. And when I got out the car, we're in New Orleans, so the weather's still pretty hot and humid here with the AC, and I'm wearing glasses. My glasses immediately fogged up. When I got out the car, ran to the vet door, and there was already a vet technician there waiting, knowing that we were on the way. And she grabbed Paris from me, and that's when I knew Paris was super limp in her body. Something was wrong, officially wrong. I sat down, and immediately, as they took her from me and they were running in the back with her, they came right back out, one of the clerks, and she says, do you want to resuscitate? And I said, yes, do anything and all that you can. So I know in that moment I broke down because I knew she did die on the way. She had passed in my arms. So that was a heavy hit to take that. One of the doctors there who specializes in critical care, her and 2 other of the vet techs were able to revive Paris. She came and got me and she says, Paris woke up like nothing ever happened. I said, that sounds like her. So I got to see her, and they had her little, I think they call it an IV catheter or whatever, that was still on her. They were giving her oxygen through a tube. And she was alert and she wagged her tail. And I'm like, I call her Mommy. Mommy. I said, you just had to give me a scare, didn't you? And she's like the doctor said, like nothing ever happened. Well, she told us, I think she said Paris had a heart attack. I'm going to be really fuzzy on this. I want to say she either had a heart attack or a stroke or a seizure or a combination of, I don't know. So she said, you need to go to the emergency vet. They need to have her in ICU for 24 hours to monitor her heart, and this first hour is crucial to get her there because she can have a second episode with the heart attack and all this could happen again. I wish they had pet ambulances because we could have used one. So I'm not sure how, I'm voice recording this now, but I'm not sure what footage I'll be putting on this video. But I did take footage of her in my arms on the way to the ICU, and she just was calm and laying down. Oh, I forgot to say, because the lady said when she woke up and she acted like nothing ever happened. Sure enough, when we were leaving the vet to go to the ICU, Paris was barking at everybody in the parking lot. I'm like, okay, Paris, you need to calm down. Like, really? But that's so typical of Paris. But yeah, we finally made it to the emergency vet. And I told the people at the counter, I said, she coded. And when I said that, her eyes got really big and she was like, oh my gosh. She was like trying to hurry up and get all my information down. She was trying to get the people like to get Paris situated so they can get her vitals and all that stuff. But they were wonderful in taking care of us with Paris. So they got her vitals and her medical history from me. They took her away in the back. She had to be in oxygen. And then a doctor was going to fully examine her, and then he was going to come talk to me about what was going on. So, because we didn't have any answers at this point. They finally called us back to tell us about what was going on with Paris. When he examined, he said Paris had fluid in her belly. She had it around her lungs and on the outer sac of the heart, I think. Again, I apologize for being so fuzzy with the details. He said that he is going to draw the fluid to see what's in there, because if it's blood, it's going to give him better answers on what to do next. And so it was a lot of wait and see, a lot of tests to be sure it's this and not that. So he sent us home and said no news is good news, that we were expecting a cardiologist to be seeing her Saturday morning, and by 10 a.m. Saturday morning they would call and let me know, like, you know, what's going on. So I go home. I managed to eat something, I don't know how. Got in contact with a couple of my relatives to let them know what's going on. And I showered. And right when I was done eating, I got a phone call from the emergency vet. And they said that he did the withdrawing of the fluid and that she had blood in the fluid around her heart and her lungs, but the fluid in her belly was clear. And with further, I guess, I don't know what kind of picture or x-ray or whatever they had to do to see this, but she has a large mass or a tumor on her heart, and it was hemorrhaging, and that it's not going to clot, and that she's struggling to get oxygen at this point, even though she's in that oxygen container. She's really struggling with it, and that the best he could offer was to give her a blood transfusion, and that would maybe get her through the night. He said that's really iffy, and he said if we're extremely lucky, she can live 2 more weeks, but I didn't want to take that chance. So it was on me to make that call, which I've never ever had to do. So I had to call, and I hung up with him after he gave me all that information. I consulted my family members, and they left it up to me. So I called back the ER doctor, and I said, can we come back and see Paris for a little while before we go ahead and put her down? And he said, sure. So we went there. I had some family with me. It was tough because I think what got me the most was, and again, this, if I'm able to do it, I'll put the footage of our little video clip of seeing Paris. She really did, in her mind, like, she thought she was coming home because she was trying to escape the oxygen box, which is so typical of Paris. They would let us open up that little hole so we can reach our hand in there to pet her and, you know, whatever. Paris, Her whole front half was out of the hole. I'm like, Mommy, you gotta stay. You gotta stay in there. She didn't get it. She was like, okay, y'all can like pull me out now. I'm good. Like, take me home. But her acting that way with my family members, because I couldn't at the time reach down and try to pet her. I let them go first. I was bawling. I was like, it broke my heart because she thought she was coming home, that we were there to pick her up. And then looking at the other animals around her, and they're kind of looking at me like they're poor, pitiful too, because they're in there too. So I'm a softie when it comes to everybody's animals and pets. So, that was tough. But I did request to have her brought to me, that I wanted to hold her during the process. So they brought us into a private room when it was time. And now this was around 10 o'clock at night on the same Friday night, same night. And they brought an oxygen tank out, and I sat on the sofa, and they handed her to me, and her little tail started to wag because she recognized the other family members. And they just kind of reached out and tried to pet her ear and stuff, whatever they could, while the doctor was there injecting her. And I held her, and then I just leaned over, and I had my face on top her head, which is where I always kiss her. And I know this is gonna sound crazy to some. Some of you are gonna understand because y'all get it. Y'all are just like me when it comes to your dogs. They're like family, they're not pets. I would inhale to smell her, like her skin. She had her own smell, and she didn't smell like a dog. So I was doing that through the process, and she went limp again. And all I could do was nod, and the doctor just took the oxygen from me. And then he double checked to make sure, that her heart had stopped. And I requested for them to give me her ponytail. So the lady, the assistant, she went ahead and shaved it and put it in a bag for me. And what's weird is this happened yesterday at the time of this recording. Friday, from the time I had to rush her the first time to the first vet, all through the night, I was strong. I was able to compose myself to be strong enough for everybody else, other than seeing her trying to escape, thinking she was coming home. It was tough, but I was trying to compose myself. When it hit me was the next morning, Saturday. Friday night, I was already picking up her food bowl, her water bowl, because from experience of my other dog, for me, that was the struggle, seeing everything out. So I picked up her little deer antlers that she would chew on, like stuff that was specific to Paris. I would pick that up. Her blanket with her name, the buffalo plaid blanket that she recently started laying on more. Her two toys, her banana, which she loved. She thought that was her lover. And her little lamb. Well, it's a llama, but she would, we called it killing it after her bath. She would put this in her mouth and shake it around because she hated taking a bath. So she would take it out on this little llama. So those are her things. I put the banana and the llama in her blanket. And all I could do today to get any kind of comfort, because all I wanted to do was smell her again and feel her. And this is all that I have left. So all I could do was put the banana inside of her blanket and hold it to my chest and lean over and try to smell her from the blanket, but it's not there. And I would open up the little bag and feel her hair. I made the decision to have her cremated, so I'm gonna get her ashes and another piece of her hair. And I think a paw print or something like that was in the package. I don't know. But the aftermath is, for me, harder than going through her passing. Oh my gosh. It's just going through the first time I'm feeding Bisou in the morning and Paris isn't there. The first time I brush Bisou's hair in the morning and Paris isn't there. It's like going through each and every single one of those steps was harder for me than going through what I went through of her passing twice yesterday. I'm a wreck. The vet that revived her, she did tell me before she sent me off to the ER, she said, we need to, settle your bill and everything. But she said, you can do that tomorrow or Monday, whenever it's convenient. And I was going to wait, but I can't. I'm not that kind of person. I need to get things checked off and done so I can move forward. If I'm lingering and letting this go on, even though I'm still going to mourn her, but I need to get things picked up and try to keep moving and focused. So I knew I wanted to go back to the vet today to thank those 3 ladies who took care of Paris and to settle up my bill. Now, I have no idea what their schedule is work-wise. I didn't even know if they were going to be there. I just showed up, and there were a ton of people there because it was Saturday, and they closed at noon, and I was there like at 11:40. And I saw one of the texts, and I wasn't sure if she was specifically the one that grabbed Paris from me when I handed her off. And the vet that actually, the doctor that actually took care of Paris, the critical care doctor that helped revive her, she came out from the back to drop off someone's chart. And I caught her attention. I just waved. And she nodded her head and she walked up to me and I just started crying. And we hugged. And I asked her, do you know? She said, yes. I called this morning to the ER. And they told me. And she said, I am so sorry. And then the vet tech hugged me. And I asked her, I said, were you the one that grabbed Paris from me? She said yes. And I hugged on so hard because I think it was her quick action to start CPR on Paris before the other doctor could get to her. I hugged her so hard and I told her thank you, because without her I wouldn't have been able to have those few hours with Paris. And they brought out the other tech that was also in the bag. I really blacked out because I don't remember seeing her there at all, but I also hugged her and thanked her. And it so happened a customer who was waiting in line, I guess to check out with her dog, overheard and saw everything. And she was crying. She came up to me and hugged me too. And she offered her condolences and she told me that she understands how hard it is. And she told her husband she wished our dogs could live as long as we live. And that she's gonna pray for my broken heart tonight. Oh my gosh. It's a lot. I think I needed that closure though to see those 3 ladies, the doctor and the 2 tech vets, because I wanted to thank them. It was just so much that happened when they were telling us, go, you have to go now because it's crucial in that hour window that you have before she, could have another episode. So that was important to me to thank them personally and to know for sure who did what. So now it's just, the process of healing and moving forward. Please, if y'all want to order from the shop, I'm not stopping working. B, let me talk about B. She seems fine. I think she can pick up that we're not okay. But yeah, she still comes up to me and stuff like that, but it's just hard right now. I still love on Bisu and, you know, tell her I love her and stuff. But it's just going through the day and knowing my routine and only calling Bisu and not Paris. It's just getting through this first day of that, of the realization that it's not Paris anymore. I know time is going to heal me, but it's just so difficult. But I did reach out to Paris's breeder to let her know, so she was the first person I told. The lady that makes the water bowls that I offer on my site, she was a huge impact on Paris. Her water bowls are a godsend because I was frustrated with Paris getting her face wet when she drinks. And it so happened that we connected, and she's been making those water bowls for me to offer on the shop. But Paris has one with her name, so I told her it was one of the toughest things I had to do was pick up her water bowl. And I just have her things put in a drawer somewhere right now. I can't, there's no way I can focus enough to figure out where I want to put things. It's just picked up and out of sight for now. Oh my gosh. So if you made it through all of this, thank you. I know it's a long video. I appreciate your time and listening and understanding. Thank y'all for supporting those who have purchased throughout the years with Paris, with the shop. She's gonna be missed, that's for sure. But I plan to keep going and working through this, and it's better for me to keep busy and put my mind elsewhere. So we appreciate all the love and the support, and thank you again.